Most of our attention has been focused in the house, and so about a third of the backyard has just been a collection point for projects and wood and firewood, and we're tired of it. And so, since the house is done, we decided to tackle that particular project. It has been kind of a point of embarrassment when we have folks over, but our hope is that it'll be a joy from now on. I am transforming this unused space, or what was used for all of this firewood and some lumber storage and all of these rocks, into my permanent forge space. So all of this is going to be rocked and a roof and all that's going to go down. And in the meantime, I've decided to hillbilly out my backyard. Day one of the backyard transformation. So, yeah. Got the wood pile moved. Some of those rounds still need to be split. Steel's been moved. All that stone, which will eventually be repurposed. Fire pit. It's all been done. This bad boy is getting sanded and restained. And then, that, dear friends, is where the parking structure is going. And by that I mean it's a lean-to here, made out of steel, and that's where my forge is going to be. So no more dragging the anvil in and out of the garage every winter when I want to forge something. So, yep. This is where the fire pit and the bench seating is going to go, and my new forge is going right there. Not a bad start. All this dug out here, and then started along here. And what we found is that the neighbor's garage actually is lower than the grade. So we're going to dig a sump there with gravel, and then I'll have to build this up a little bit. Start of the sump. Now I don't know why there's a wire there. Huh. This is new and odd. There seems to be a cable underground to my neighbor's garage, maybe? I'm not sure, but it looks like there is a ground spike there. No idea. We will dig that out and figure it out. Huh. So this electric post, I actually put in when we first moved in, and we're going to take that bad boy out and move it, well, shit, can't see, move it to here. So, and then, so this is the kind of first phase dig, and then this kind of to here will be a second phase dig. Lots of progress, day two. Look at that. Coming along nicely. So on Tuesday, my 5/8 minus rock will come in, and we'll be able to finish out what will be the fire pit and the forge area, and then maybe get some of this rock and firewood back into a decent place. The final backyard push is coming right along. Got all the dirt moved out, and the 5/8 minus gravel will be in on Tuesday, and we'll get it all compacted. Vegetation barrier is down. I'm going to put some staples in, and then this piece here will actually go over there after I dig a little bit of a gravel sump. But yeah, tomorrow the 5/8 minus rock arrives. Pretty happy with this. So get that dug out and then have the rock all the way across. So. All right. So 5/8 minus, compacted, good and tight, watered down. After the water sets, compacted again tomorrow. But yeah, we'll put Valcor against or Vicor, sorry, against the garage just to make sure that we wouldn't have any sort of infiltration. Trying to be a decent neighbor. And if you notice, the slope is away from the garage and away from my garage, so it's down the middle there. But it's not like water's going to run anyway. It should just hit and permeate all the way through. So real happy with where we are now. So another day or two of work and it'll be ready for the benches to go in, the fire pit to go in, and then the forge structure to go in. That beast right there. So there's the back where the bricks were. So this will all get refilled and compacted. And again, on the being a good neighbor, got a little extra rock there, and then there was an extra yard of 5/8 minus. So it's on my neighbor's driveway, and we'll get that compacted tomorrow too. So. For more detail, take a look at my previous bench build video. With the help of my very strong 18-year-old son, I have filled all 4 of the bench bases, and I'll go ahead and do the lids and get everything wired in so they're solid later tonight. We put a big dent in all the stone that's been stacked up this morning. One of my baskets was a little ornery and I couldn't get this side close enough with my hands to get it clipped in, so I brought out one Big Guns 3/4 inch pipe clamp, and it snugged it right up, so I'll be able to go ahead and put 4 rings in there, and I'm actually going to add another one there, and then that one's already in place. So the bench tops are made out of this repurposed cedar that was torn out of the old fence. And for the north-south running bench, the shorter bench, it's actually going to be at 7 feet. So I'm going to chop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of these up to 7 feet, and then put the spacers and all thread in them. So start of the process. So my standard frame and speed square is MIA this morning. I'm not 100% sure, so I grabbed my rafter square, and I'll just make the cuts using it. We had to move inside. It got dark, and the 3 mosquitoes in all of Seattle, they found my white, tender, juicy legs. So moved inside the shop and finished out all the holes for the all thread. I ripped one of the old fence boards down to about a 1/16 less in width than the reused 2x4, and I went ahead and I marked every one of these at 4, and they're doubled. So 4 inches of these, and then I set the square up, and I'm marking the center for each, and I'll pop a hole in it and just match drill everything, and then cut each one out. And then with these measurements, I made sure to allow for the kerf on each side. All the spacers cut, ready to be installed. I brought everything inside so that I could put it on the concrete so I'd have a nice flat level surface to align everything, to put the all thread through, and then to cut it to length so that it doesn't stick out on either side before bolting it down. Once you have everything laid out and you push the all thread through, the thing you need to do is get a framing square, and then square up one end here with the framing square, and then start clamping as you go down. If this end down here isn't square, it's okay because you can cut it off, but you want one end square for reference. Clamp everything together, and then you can get your measurements for your all thread, pull it out, clip it, and be able to put it back in and torque everything down. All of the pieces for the last bench are cut out. I did have to buy some new cedar, but it's fine. I did reuse these two as well as some old fence boards. I'm getting ready to run the all thread through, and I picked that up just a little bit ago because I was out. I have the bolt cutters, have it marked to length, and I'm going to cut it and round the edges and go ahead and put her together. That little bit of cleaning up the all thread ends may have been the death nail in the 5-year-old coffin of that 80 grit sand disc. So I went ahead while I was here and just put a new disc on. Only took a couple minutes, and then I cleaned up some of the errant sawdust and just pushed it right into the vac. So, and again, I say this because I keep getting comments of, why don't you do it on a workbench? Why don't you do it on sawhorses? Well, my garage slab is completely flat, and I want my bench to be flat, so that's why I'm doing it here. I flipped the completed bench over and lopped off a full 1.25 inches at 45. I like the way that looks better on the bottom, so it's not a sharp edge. I don't feel that these added pieces are necessary, especially chamfering them a little, but I think that it makes me rest easier knowing that there's a little bit for the seasonal movement, and I like these on the ends to get it up off the basket so the whole thing isn't sitting on the basket, so it drains really well. Now the whole thing is oiled, but this piece sitting on the rock, not that it's going to be in contact with water and moisture all the time, but I'd rather a piece like this on the rock than the whole bench. First test fit of the new bench top, and pretty pleased. It went right in. It measured out exactly how it's supposed to. I'll pull this off, give it a power washing, a scrubbing, and oil it down, and then it'll go back into place with this one. So there's a gate here, and I know I've talked about it before, but these are light enough that if I need to use the gate, this is my neighbor's fence, then it just tilts up. You can move it, because they're not permanently attached to the rock. So that makes it easier to clean, and it also makes it easier to re-oil every year. Because, I mean, in Seattle, if you got wooden deck, wooden furniture, you get to do some maintenance. But real happy with that. Both benches installed. Now I understand there's a door there. The bench actually it's not heavy at all. It just pops right up. So next thing to do is the fire pit right here. So the fire pit is actually an old boiler tank that was cut down, and it just happens to be sitting on the firewood horse. But I'm going to clean it out and move it over in just a little bit.